In as much as I'm an HR exec, I know that there are other seasoned HR managers who've
Yeah.
been in the field way longer than me,
Yeah.
and they can teach me a lot. So it does not mean if I'm in the executive team, as an exco, my HR manager cannot teach me something.
Yeah.
So have a learning attitude at all times. It really helps.
Good day. Welcome to another episode of Discover Talent with Vico.net. Today we are in Cape Town at the HR Directors Conference, and I am with the lovely Kgolagano Lehobye. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you, KG?
I'm good.
Lovely.
It's been many years.
Sure, it's been a long time. Been a long time, but it's been good times.
It's been good times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't want to expose you, but the last time I saw you, you were this young graduate,
Yes.
um, new to the world of work,
Yeah.
and we were working together on a project.
Yeah.
And fast forward 18 years later, you're a mover and shaker, right?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. But let me also not expose you, but I have to say, a part of who I am today is because of when I walked into that world, I walked into your hands. And some of the critical questions that you asked me at a very young age, up to today, I still carry them. So, yeah, thanks for having a hand in who I am today.
Well, thank you. I'll send that check in the mail.
Please do. Sure.
No, thank you for those words.
Thank you.
It was very kind of you. So, what are you up to? What are you doing?
Sure. So now I am in the automotive industry.
Okay.
So I'm HR executive for MA Automotive Tool Die. It's a component manufacturing company. So what we do is we use roll forming and sheet metal forming to basically create the body of your car.
Okay.
So the car that you're driving, Ford or BMW, whoever, doesn't actually make the car. We make the body of the car, the shell, and we sell it to them, and they assemble it onto the car to make the full car. So that's what I do. So I'm in the background
Oh, okay.
of the car that you're driving.
And your company, does it work across all manufacturers or particular manufacturers?
Look, we have got what we call customers, right? So your two big German companies in South Africa would be Mercedes-Benz and BMW, but you've got Isuzu, we've got VW. We recently had Ford, which we finished our contract with them in 2021. So those, excuse me. So currently, those are our biggest customers at the moment. We have got 5 plants in South Africa, 2 in Roslyn, 1 in PE, and 2 in East London. And yeah, that's really what we do. Oh, I forgot Toyota and Toyota as well in Durban. Yeah. So that's what we do. It's an international company. It is Italy based. The
Okay.
headquarters are in Italy. It's a family owned company. So you can imagine the culture and the values around it.
Yes.
And I think that's why I'm here, for that long. And that's why I'm making the difference that I'm making because the family owned company and we, believe it or not, people first and everything else follows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that fits in quite beautifully, right? People first in terms of the culture of the organization, and you are the head of people,
Yes.
at the organization.
Yeah.
I mean, you've always been passionate about people development. Um, I know in one of your profiles, you also indicate that to be innovative, right?
Hmm.
It aligns with skills application, skills development, and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested on how that contrasts with your industry. I'm sure you are technology plays a big role,
Very much.
and then you have people.
Hmm.
How do the two meet?
So think about your current W206, so your 2023 model of Mercedes Benz.
Mhm.
You walk in, you literally feel like you're walking into a hotel, right? So the industry that we're in, mathematics, engineering, science, technology is the way to go. We are looking for talent in that space and we nurture talent in that space. We go as far as sending our local guys overseas so they can learn. We send them to your BMW plants, your Mercedes-Benz plants, so they can come back to South Africa and really utilize that skill here in South Africa. We invest a lot in people, but also we make sure that in as much as you are developed and you are trained, we try not to train for the world,
Okay.
but to train for our own company. You know what I mean? Because what we do right now is we lose so much skill. And I think in my space, I need a lot of technicians. I need a lot of tool makers. I need a lot of engineers in general, process quality. But the pool is so small, and a lot of them leave the country for various reasons. They leave the country, and we find ourselves really fighting as companies, over a very small pool. So it's important that when we grab that kind of talent, we then retain it internally. So we really are intentional around how we are developing from a very young space. So we've got talent programs for your graduates. We've got millwrights. We've got graduate in training programs. We've got even years learners. We've got our years learners who are now permanent people who are moving up the ladder into potentially management positions. This is somebody that came in with only just matric, but because they had the right attitude, they were committed, and they were very consistent. I always say this: for me, a key in you being a leader, excuse me, is for you to be consistent in what you do. So we really look at nurturing those people and making sure that they understand their role, just not just in MA, but the world as a whole. Because in as much as you are developing a young person, it's important for them to understand that whatever that they're doing, not just for them, but somebody else is looking out there and saying, "Oh, there's a young Kgolagano. I want to be like her one day." Where do they come from? So when you walk out of your workplace, your values, your passion, your drive must feed with other people, and that's how you make a difference in this world.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is that when you come in, especially for young professionals or graduates, it's common cause that the experience won't be there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But what's under evaluation is your value system, your confidence, your drive,
Yeah.
your attitude. Um, those are the characteristics that can be molded into something else, and then you develop skills on top of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we then obviously, I always say case by case, merit by merit, right? Every person has got their own likes and dislikes. And we really focus on those to say, what makes this employee tick? Is this person a talent for the future for us? And if yes, we then really have a sort of a personalized development program for this person to say, are they the next plant manager? Are they our next financial manager? And what then do we need to put in place to make sure that they are developed to that particular level? And to make sure that they bring the difference into the business and we grow the business. I always say one of our biggest unwritten culture is entrepreneurship. You have to be in a business. For you to run a department, you must run it as if it's your own shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Efficiencies are important. Improvements are important. And you can only get that right if you own it and it becomes your own baby, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
I mean, it's critical what you're saying because we normally say that the common denominator when you come into the world of work is that assume that everybody has the same qualification as you.
Yeah, for sure.
So where's the differentiator? It's all these things that we are talking about, right?
Absolutely.
That actually becomes critical. And in a way, you need to keep them throughout your working life. So it's not like it's a once-off event. You need to keep enhancing them. Now, you've progressed through the ladder over a period of time. You are now in a leadership role. How are you finding that? What are the new skills you are having to learn or relearn in your current role?
So the one skill that I was taught that if I want to be a leader that will be a leader for the future is to not to always be reactive. We're human beings, right? And we've got feelings. And in my space where the automotive industry is male dominated, literally male dominated, if you don't put your foot down as a female, nobody takes you seriously. If you don't become a drama queen, nobody takes you seriously. But in actual fact, you don't have to do that. You need to be tactful. You need to almost be strategic in how you respond to certain things. And one of the most important things is if you go into a space and you go into a conversation, you must know what you are talking about. If you don't know, don't say anything. And it's okay to not know. It's really okay to not know everything. We learn every day. So for me, I learned those things. But what I really had for me, what I will always say to each and every single, even young people, even older people, is that integrity is everything. You must be able to walk into a room and nobody frowns.
Mm.
You must be able to not be in a room and somebody picks up the phone and say, please come join us. And that will, if you are a person of integrity, definitely without a doubt, that will always go the long way for you. So for me, I think those things that I've learned, continuous studying, continuous learning, you can never say you know enough. You can never say what I know from you in 2006. Now in 2024, I can't apply that, but I can apply the enhanced principle.
Yep.
You understand what I mean? Yeah. So that's really what I've learned.
Okay. So, firstly, don't forget why you are at the top table, which is know your stuff,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
That was your license to get there.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, be yourself,
Yebo.
right? That's important because emerging leaders, I suppose, and those that were not traditionally at the top table, at times, because you don't know what you don't know,
Yeah.
you could equally copy the wrong behaviors,
Absolutely.
right? Assuming that they are normal, because you are not being yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And KJ, that takes me to the point around having the right network. That is very important. Your friend from varsity, they are equally important. Your in the industry, they're equally important. Such sessions where we've got HR directors conferences, that's where you then network. That's when you can start outside of this session, start having benchmark conversations around certain things. So we always learn. In as much as I think very highly of my employer and my company, I really think there's a lot that we can do, and I know that I can learn so much from other HR directors, but also even HR managers. In as much as I'm an HR exec, I know that there are other seasoned HR managers who've been in the field way longer than me,
Yeah.
and they can teach me a lot. So it does not mean if I'm in the executive team, I sit in Exco, my HR manager cannot teach me something.
Yeah.
So have a learning attitude at all times. It really helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn from everybody, right?
Yebo.
At the top, at the bottom. But I think what you're also alluding to is the role of mentorship, um, which becomes critical in our life stages, I suppose, and also career stages, right? And we mention this because for those coming through the ranks, you have to keep tabs and keep improving. Your self-awareness has to be high, isn't it? Because
Very
you
high.
also have to shed what you're not doing well, but also keep what you're doing well. But importantly, the benchmarking you're talking about.
Yeah.
How others are doing it. Those insights. It
Yeah.
becomes critical because that's how you stay relevant.
Absolutely. So I always say you must have a mirror, and somebody must put the mirror in front of you, and you need to look, and really have honest conversations with yourself. So once you have those honest conversations, you can grow. But that comes from the leadership and the mentorship programs that we need to start taking seriously. Because I think the other thing is that companies don't take mentorships seriously.
Yeah.
It is me and you, KG, having a coffee downstairs once in a while. That is not mentorship. It needs to be an intentional program that we put together for people that we have identified as talent, and we say we need to groom you. Part of it is you need a mentor, especially if we are looking at people that are going to be future leaders. I mean, leadership, in as much as it's great, it is tough. It is tough. That's the truth. And the minute you've got somebody that you can always bounce your ideas off, that can give you a different perspective, then the weight is going to be so much less.
Yeah.
So I believe in mentorship. I worked with people who believed in me, and they were informal mentors for me. You know what I mean? And I grew because of that. And my confidence level and my drive comes from the fact that there's always somebody that is believing in me and pushing me to the next level. I mean, this morning I sent my boss a message and I said, thank you so much for allowing me space and my team to lead the HR vision for the business. He's doing it well because he's giving me space to do what I need to do. But I'm in a space where also I'm able to drive my HR car, without him really always showing me the way.
Yes.
Right? And that's because of my network. That is because of the mentors that I've got. That's because of the self-awareness that I've got. But more than anything, that's because of the attitude that I have towards what I do. Because I love what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great to hear. Just in terms of what you were alluding to earlier around the skills shortage, right, for your type of industry and company as well. Do you think there's enough pipeline? Are we producing enough from our learning institutions into the mainstream?
No, no, we are not. No, we are not. I'm honestly of the view that technical skills and technical subjects should start at primary school, not high school, not high school at all. And this thing of having technical schools and non-technical schools, it's also not helping.
Okay.
You know, because you have so many people that started in technical and now are not technical. Some people that started in a non-technical field and now they are technical. And you speak to them, they say, "I wasted my time." You know, I wasted my time. So for me, we don't have enough in the pipeline. We don't have enough in the schools. We don't have enough in the workplace because the schools are the feeders.
Yes.
So we don't have enough in the workplace. But also, the question that I would ask is, do we have enough knowledge that we are sending out there?
Yeah.
Right? A child in Century City and a child in Kailicha, sorry. Do they have the same knowledge?
Yeah.
Do they understand what is an instrumentation technician?
Yeah.
Do they understand that is a welding specialist?
Yeah.
Do they understand what's a tool maker? No, they do not, because all that they know is I want to be a lawyer, a doctor, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Those are your generic ones. But what makes the world tick now?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And behind that, I mean, that's been part of the reason why we started the virtual collaboration network, right? Vico.net. Because we profile talent that you generally don't hear about every day,
Yeah.
different careers, typically around STEM fields, and creating that database, right? Not just for the country, by the way, it's for the continent and for the world. Unfortunately for us, this skill and talent is in global demand, right?
Absolutely.
So,
I've lost 5 to Germany recently.
so well, we can always go higher, 5 more from Germany, right, and balance the scales. But that's part of the challenge that we have. That in as much as we think it's for local consumption, hey, the world is borderless. We've got
Absolutely.
to do things differently.
Absolutely. Look, right now, I think we are, yes, third world country, first world country, but if you look at the skills that are leaving South Africa,
Yeah.
going overseas, South Africa is not a third world country, guys.
Yeah.
We've got intelligent people. We've got talent in South Africa. You
Yeah.
know, yes, the economic state and things that are happening in the country right now are maybe pushing our guys to go overseas. But I really believe we as South Africans as well, South African countries, we need to have the confidence in ourselves to say, hey, I can actually employ somebody from America to come in and live in South Africa. I can employ somebody from China to come and live in South Africa, looking at what is the need for your company, you know. So, and I think the one thing that a big role that companies can play is your multinational companies. What is stopping all these companies from bringing the Europeans and the Asian guys into South Africa? Why is it always that we are sending talent out, but we don't bring talent in? You know? So I always say I believe in talent exchange programs. They are big, they are important, but it is also another strategy to retain talent. You attract talent, you develop it, and you retain it. You know, in South Africa, a lot of us love traveling, right? And if I say I'm going to work in Europe for 3 years, listen, you've got me. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to come back and I'm going to work for you again. But for me, it's really around the employee experience
Yes.
that our employees also get. You know, if we are saying we are multinational, let us then be a multinational
Yeah.
in a true sense. Yeah.
So, why should anybody join MA Automotive Tool and Die?
One is that it is known to be the trainer for the automotive space, literally. So we are very strong in our technical training.
Yeah.
My senior HR manager, Kone, is actually a trained tool maker, and he worked his way up. So this also speaks to how we are easily, you know, cross functioning in our business. But we supply the two biggest car manufacturers, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, right? So that means the technology that you get exposed to, the technology that you get trained into, it's world class. You can't get it anywhere else. We've got one of the biggest presses in South Africa, or even in the world, actually, that press and make the car doors and all of those things. So we are technically strong. We believe in giving people an opportunity to grow, and that is why our millwright apprentice program, toolmaker apprentice program, graduate program, yes learner program, bursary program. These 5 we are consistent on. If you can cut my budget, cut anyway. You don't cut these ones.
Yeah.
Because we are consistently bringing young talent into the business.
Yeah.
Right. And for us, we are always saying it's great to keep the talent in, but if we can't keep it in, we would have done our bit as a responsible employer, as a corporate, CSR, and say we've given you the skills. Go out into the world and make it shine. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's see how that training has been going on, right? On a lighthearted moment, your first car, what was it?
My first car was a Toyota Yaris,
Oh,
a
okay.
gold one,
A gold one.
2-door. I loved it.
No, I can just see that. I want to ask what you're driving now.
Yes, please.
Right? Because you servicing across the industry, so we'll be politically correct. But can you change a tire?
Personally, yes, I can.
You can?
Yes, and a battery.
And a battery?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I can also fill up my tire. Yes, I can.
And how many speeding fines in the last month?
So, I am grateful that we've got what we call cruise control. So no, I'm actually a very responsible driver at the moment.
Good answer.
Yeah.
And what track are you playing your car at the moment?
Right now, The Baddest Team by AKA.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's a feel-good song.
It's a feel-good song.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Kgolagano Lehobye, the future of HR is in good hands. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, KG, for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.